aspects as well. So it is understanding our own emotions, strengths, weaknesses, and the self-management. So understanding our own emotions, whether we are very, very short-tempered or aggressive when we are relating with others. It can be our own family members or in the workplace. How are we coping with emotions? So that is the third core skill. And self-management. So how do we manage ourselves? If you are not able to manage ourselves, we will not be able to manage the company. If you are expected to hold a very prestigious position in an organization, if you are not able to manage oneself, we will not be able to do justice to our assignment, the position that we are holding. Self-management, all these are interrelated. So managing oneself, regulating emotions, making responsible decisions. So these are all there as part of the 21st century skills also, isn't it? So taking decisions, it can be a small little decision, a very minor kind of an issue that we are facing, or it can be a very major issue, a major decision in one's life, or managing stress. So coping up with stress, anger management, time management, stress management, all these things should be learned, whether it is there part of the curriculum or otherwise. And the personal and social success. So if we are to be successful in our own careers, it is important that we manage ourselves. So self-management skill or competency is another one important skill. Next comes social awareness, being empathetic to others, understanding others. In counseling, we say understanding the world or looking at the world of the client through the lens of the client, getting into the shoes of the other person. We say we need to be empathetic. These days, because of various obvious reasons, we have become very, very materialistic, and we often tend to forget wishing or greeting or taking care of the feelings of others. It can be our own near and dear ones. We are running after time, and we are in the rat race, and time is a major constraint and all that. So invariably what happens is we are not sensitive to the environment. So being sensitive to the environment is very, very important. So empathy is one thing that has started, almost it is vanishing from our lives. So being empathetic to others is very, very important core competency that the youngsters need to develop in themselves. Next, adaptability. Life is changing very fast. We need to adjust to the situations that are often changing very fast. The cultural groups that we are often exposed to. So we need to embrace change. Whether we like it or not, change is one thing that is permanent, we say. So changes that do happen in the environment has to be accepted, and we need to adapt to the changing environment that we are in, because we are talking in terms of the global, in the global context, the global scenario. Cultural competency, when we are exposed to different cultural groups, we need to accept their culture, because no two cultures are the same. So we need to accept those differences, and we need to interact effectively with people from diverse backgrounds. Decision making, whether it is a small little decision or a very major kind of a decision, that needs to be taken with lot of care and caution. So this decision making often comes in combination with goal setting. So we need to set goals. We need to encourage youngsters to set goals. Some people, when they are graduating, when we ask them, what is your future aspirations or your dream, or what is it that you want to do once you leave this institution, they are like clueless. I mean, they have not set a goal for themselves. So we should encourage the youngsters to set a goal. It can be short-term goals, it can be long-term goals, or a combination of both short-term as well as long-term goals. So taking decisions with regard to their goals is very, very important. Then comes resisting negative social pressures. The society is not as we expect the society to be. Often we come across people around us negating everything or putting lot of negative pressure on us. Particularly the youngsters, when they are at the crossroads, they should get people around them supporting them, or if not supporting, at least let them not discourage them. So the social pressure that they often come across can come on their way of their success. So negating those social pressures or resisting those social pressure which is negative in nature. So that will lead to well-being of these youngsters. Next. So why these skills do matter? Why are they needed at all? One is to be successful, because we are looking at it at the global level. So being successful in the global workforce, which calls for certain social skills, the cultural awareness, and they are navigating the diverse workplaces, and they are expected to collaborate effectively with the international colleagues. It is not something that is typical of the IT industry alone. Even in other fields, there are plenty of opportunities globally. If at all you master these social competencies, you will be successful in the global market. Then comes promoting global citizenship. So it is for the well-being of self as well as others, and whether we are operating at the local level or at the global level, think locally and think globally and act locally, we say. So our thinking should be at the global level, and our action should be at the local level. We should be in a position to render services to our localites, to the people around us. Whether we are operating at the local level or at the global level, we should have these skills so that we are able to market ourselves. Building stronger communities. So building stronger communities, it is needless to say that we need to establish good rapport with others, building positive relationship, resolving conflicts positively. We cannot imagine our lives without conflicts. Conflicts are inevitable, but it can be resolved. Like we say, every lock comes with a key. Every problem has a solution. So if we are to build stronger communities, we should interact or maintain good relationship with others, and resolving conflicts positively. Personal well-being. So we should possess strong social skills, being aware of oneself, and all these things will lead to good self-esteem and the overall well-being of that individual. So if we are not in peace with ourselves, we will not be able to expect that in the neighborhood or in the society. We should be experiencing that peace within oneself. So what is the need for social competencies for the global youth? Because of the interconnectedness, and the technology is one thing that is moving very fast. Whatever was there yesterday becomes outdated today. If you look at the cell phone, for example, or the computer and other gadgets that we often use, it becomes outdated very fast and all that. So the science and technology is advancing very fast, and we need to adapt to the changing world. And because of the advancement in the technology, the geographical distances between two different countries are minimized. We can, move on from one country to the other. We can have breakfast in one country, move to another one country for lunch, and move to another one country for dinner. So that is the situation that we are in today. So if we are to compete at the global level, we need to really accept those changes and the competencies that are essential for us to survive in this global level, we need to master. So this includes being able to build a positive relationship, understand the diverse perspectives, and we should engage in constructive dialogue, because these things have become the order of the day, because we are in a very globalized kind of a society. Next. So cultural awareness, being aware of a culture. Suppose the youngsters are moving to another one country where the culture is totally different. If we are moving towards the Western society, it is often very, very different when it comes to the Indian society. So culturally, people are different, so we need to understand their cultural background and respect those differences. We cannot say that your culture is bad or our culture is bad or whatever. Culture has to be understood and respected. So again, we are talking about empathy, open-mindedness, intercultural communication. So when we are expected to communicate with one another, we should learn a particular language that is common for both the cultural groups. So often it is said that when we are moving to another one country, maybe English is a common kind of language that we can communicate with each other. So mastering the communication skills in English becomes very, very important. Next, conflict resolution and collaboration. So often we are also facing challenges. So it can be different conflicts that we are facing, and if we are to work at the global level, we need to work, we cannot work in isolation. We need to work as a team. Team building skills is very, very important. And team, the acronym of team, I heard an expert say, together everyone achieves more. When we are working as a team, each one of us will benefit from the exercise. So team building skills is very, very important. Problem solving, because in every assignment there are problems. We cannot expect a situation where there would not be any problem. It can be a minor problem or a major problem, but problems are inevitable. So problem solving skills, negotiation skills. Not all of us are going to get convinced in the first meeting itself. There are issues that needs to be negotiated. So negotiation skills are also important for the youth if they have to work across cultures, across boundaries. So the language should not be a barrier, or the cultural differences should not be a barrier. So it can be applicable both at the local level as well as the global level. Communication and digital literacy. Communication skills is very, very important, and it is not just the literacy, meaning reading, writing and all those things that are any longer important these days. We have to be digitally literate. Even among the illiterate people, they are expected to know certain things. The digital literacy is something that has really made a lot of changes in our day-to-day lives, the transformation that has occurred in our world. So being literate digitally is another one social competence, and it also includes active listening. Listening with the third ear, we say in counseling language. So not just what the client has said or what the other person has said, but also certain things that he does not want to reveal. He wants to hide certain things from the other person. All those things also we need to listen. Being an active listener is one thing that is very, very essential. clarity in expressing our ideas. Whatever is there in the mind, others are not face readers or mind readers. They cannot read certain things that are going on in our minds. So we need to spell out those things verbally. It should be crystal clear. So expressing our ideas, understanding the non-verbal cues. So it is said that nearly 55% of our communication is non-verbal, we say. So that is one thing, being able to express non-verbally or understanding the non-verbal cues of the other person, and all these things will help us in interacting with one another, maintaining excellent relationship with one another, whether at the personal level or at the professional level. Digital literacy, this has become the order of the day. Lot of information is available. It is just a click away. So if we are digitally illiterate, we will be losing out on many things. Next. Adaptability and resilience. World is moving very, very fast. We have to adapt to the changing environment, and we need to be resilient. There are a lot of eventualities or certain challenges that we are facing in our day-to-day lives. It can be a major trauma that we are experiencing. So how we are getting back to normalcy, whether we are resilient or not. So coming back to normalcy and whether we possess those skills or not. Next. Global citizenship and responsibility. So as global citizens, the youngsters have to be made to understand their roles in addressing certain global issues. It can be climate change, it can be inequality, it can be human rights. These issues are not something that is peculiar to Indian society alone. Everyone is talking about climate change these days and global warming. They are interrelated. And of course, inequality is there, whether we are in Indian society or in the West. Inequality is there. Not all of us are treated alike. There are inequalities on the basis of caste, creed, religion, race, or gender, or age, or whatever, class, all those things. So in order to address these global issues, we should be in a position to, we should accept that responsibility. We should be socially responsible. This is our nation. We have to address our issues that our country is facing. That sort of social responsibility is one thing that needs to be inculcated among youngsters. So they should be socially responsible and they should be participating actively. Youngsters do have a lot of energy, enthusiasm. The other day I heard one expert saying IT does not necessarily refer to information technology. He was telling IT also means Indian talent. The talented Indian youngsters, why do you think they are going abroad, leaving their family here? And of course, they are making a lot of money, but simply they are not being paid for whatever degree they have acquired from Indian universities. They do have talents and they are encashing that. So participating in the change is one thing that needs to be encouraged. And this can obviously lead to empowerment and development of more sustainable and equitable world. We are talking about sustainability. So these loaded terms can become a reality by possessing these skills. Next. So these social competencies are important not only for their personal development, but it has become a critical component in nation building. They have to be collaborative, they should collaborate with others, they should do it in a peaceful manner, and ultimately it is the inclusive global society that we can expect. So these foundations have to be laid, particularly among the youth, so that they are thoughtful, they are engaged, they become effective leaders who can bring about changes in the world. And the entire world is facing a lot of challenges. So at least some of the challenges can be addressed by youth if they possess these social competencies. Next. So what are the what are the key elements of social competence? One is effective communication, problem solving skills, decision making ability. They should be in a position to resolve conflicts peacefully, and they should have the basic social skills. It starts with initiating a conversation. I find some youngsters, in the name of being reserved, they are very reserved by nature, they are introverts, all those things fine. But at least they should be in a position to interact with others, because without interaction we cannot survive. What is there in your mind you need to express, whether it is in marriage or in the family or in your workplace, isn't it? We are not face readers or mind readers. So initiating a conversation, it may look like it's a very basic kind of a skill, but some of us don't have that. మౌనంగా ఉంటారండి అంటారు. స్పీచ్ ఇస్ సిల్వర్ అండ్ సైలెన్స్ ఇస్ గోల్డ్. ఇవన్నీ చెప్పుకోవడానికి బాగుంటాయి, కానీ ఒక్కొక్కసారి అట్లీస్ట్ మాట్లాడాలి, నోరు విప్పాలి. నో రిప్లై అని ఎట్లా వచ్చింది? నోరు ఇప్పలేదు అందుకే అన్నారు ఎవరో. నోరు ఇప్పలే కాబట్టి నో రిప్లై అంట. అట్లా కాదు, రిప్లై ఇవ్వాలి. అప్లై నో రిప్లై అంటారు మన చెన్నారెడ్డి గారు. రిప్లై లేకుండా ఉంటే మనం ఎంతకాలం మనం వెయిట్ చేస్తాము? హౌ డు వి అజ్యూమ్ what is there on the other side? So starting a conversation is very, very important, because with that particular conversation, by initiating a conversation, it will go on for hours together, for years together. They are doing something worthwhile. There are people who are doing that. Accurate in identification and understanding of the social cues. So we need to interact or relate with the social environment. It can be the family, peer group, or neighbors, or siblings, or at the workplace, relating with the colleagues, superiors, or equals, or whatever. Next. Self-control. Controlling one's own emotions, self-monitoring whether our behavior is useful or not, healthy or unhealthy. Not all the behavior that is being manifested is healthy and worthwhile, isn't it? There can be some behavior, the maladjusted behavior we say. It is really maladjusted, and it is not just going to affect that individual who is manifesting that maladjusted behavior. It can affect the family and the other significant others and all those. So those things should be corrected. So monitoring our own behavior. Why have I behaved like this? Sometimes when we introspect, we feel very, very guilty of our own behavior. I shouldn't have spoken that. See how, because of my one particular word, that I have lost such a wonderful person in my life. That can happen, isn't it? So monitoring oneself, perception of self-efficacy. Not all of us are efficient, or the efficacy may not be there in all of us, but then there is a chance for us to improve. How I was yesterday, how I am today. Tomorrow I should be a better person, not become worst. So perception of self-efficacy, and whether we are able to influence the social environment, whether we are able to make a positive impact on our family members, on our colleagues or peer group or whatever. Even sometimes if we are having these social competencies, even our bosses may become influenced. They can also benefit out of our social competence. Respect the individual differences. The individual differences are there based on gender or ethnicity or something else. So we need to respect and regard each other's differences, instead of saying you are superior, I am inferior, or I am superior and you are inferior. It goes on like that. Ability to solicit and utilize social support. It is said that if we are having good social support system, the suicide rate among such groups would be less. Suicide is a cry for help. Why do you think many youngsters are attempting suicide or committing suicide or all these things? Why it is happening? Because of the poor social support system. Coping ability. Effectively, we should be in a position to cope up with life, coping up with one's emotions or coping up with conflicts or whatever. Future orientation, working towards setting one's goals and working towards those goals. Next, being able to show socially responsible behavior. We are all citizens of a particular nation, that is Indian society. We are all Indians, so we need to be responsible. Love your neighbor antar Bible law. That means you should be sensitive to their needs and their this thing. If at all there is an emergency or some need, you should be in a position to rise up to the occasion and attend to that and fix the problem. Whatever the need may be, it may be a small little need or a very major kind of an issue. Being empathetic, taking ability, how we are perceiving ourselves, whether we are empathetic or not. Ability to initiate and maintain relationship, okay. So, being interconnected, because we are all in an interconnected world, these social competence or competencies become very, very important for us, particularly the global youth. And this helps us in maintaining interpersonal relationship. We will be strengthening our interpersonal relationship and have strong interpersonal relationship. And if you are navigating the complexities of the global society, it becomes important that these social competencies are equipped in these youngsters. And we should understand and respect the cultural diversities. If there are about 170 nations, there are 170 different cultural groups. In our own country, India is known for its diversity. Number of religions are there, number of caste groups are there, number of subcastes are there, number of linguistic groups are there, number of geographical areas, isn't it? And all these have different cultural identity. So we cannot go on saying that my cultural group is superior than yours or yours is superior than mine. It is endless. Instead of that, we need to respect and regard each other's cultural diversity. So we should also communicate effectively. So this communication includes all the 4 types of communication: reading, writing, listening and responding, right? And we need to collaborate with people belonging to different cultural groups or the diverse groups that we are talking about, with a sense of empathy, being responsible, so that we will have an inclusive society. And these social competencies bring about positive results. We will be able to work with different communities. Previous slide. And there are certain skills that have to be honed by youngsters, like critical thinking. All these things are more or less related to the 21st century skills. Under NEP 2020 also, we often talk about the 21st century skills that are essential for the youngsters, especially students belonging to the higher education. Because unless and until they hone these 21st century skills, they are not employable. Unfortunately, in our country, with their professional degrees also, there are many unemployed youth or underemployed youth or youth doing something else which is totally different from what they have, whatever qualification they possess. Isn't it? So that way, I often ask the placement officers who come to our campus or other campuses and all in conducting the interviews and all that as part of the campus recruitment process. So I asked them, why do you think you said that you have got about 20,000 openings and you have only shortlisted 1,000 of them? And where is 20,000 and where is 1,000? They simply smile and say that only 1,000 of them are employable. They are not having employability skills. Right? So, as part of the employability skills, we can include these 21st century skills. We should be youngsters. We means youngsters because we are talking about the global youth and all those things, social competencies for global youth. So they should be thinking out of the box, we say. Critical thinking, emotional intelligence. We are not just talking in terms of IQ alone, intelligence quotient alone. There is also EQ, SQ, all those things, isn't it? So along with the intelligence quotient, we should be having those emotional quotient. How well you are able to handle your emotions. Conflict resolution. If it is a small little conflict, they should not just go to a room and shut down and keep mum. That is not going to solve their problems. Instead, they should face. They should be in a position to fix it. They should sit, contemplate, think what is the solution. If you sit and think and interrogate, reflect, you will get the solution. More than one solution you can think about. More than one strategy that you can adopt, isn't it? So conflict resolution, all these things are very, very important. They are important in the global scenario. So youth are often addressed as the future leaders. So they should engage in leadership roles. So they should excel not only in the personal level but also in the professional environment so that they drive social progress. They are nation's wealth. Next. So these social competencies are very important so that we maintain a harmonious relationship. There is equitable global society. And we are in a thoughtful, collaborative, and we are also able to make impact in our own ways. Next. Thank you. So any doubts you have, or would you like to add something? I hope I have not exceeded the time that was given to me. Yeah? Okay. I was just asking whether I have exceeded the time that was given to me. Okay, thank you all for your patient listening. Thank you.
Good afternoon, participants. At outset, I congratulate the organizers for conducting this global conference. And I'm so fortunate to chair an effective paper presented by Professor Saraswati Raju Iyer. And I greet all the participants, the students and the learned scholars on this two-day international conference on psychological competencies for global youth, organized by Global Counseling Psychologists Association and St. Joseph College of Education for Women. Here, Professor Saraswati Rao Iyer has presented a paper on effective communication skills. What I have seen here, the participants are more in education department than psychology. Yes, in this connection, I want to speak to you a few minutes. What Professor Saraswati has spoken here, the importance of this communication skills from personal to global. She has given the overall idea of this, the importance of communication skills from personal to global. At the same time here, these communication skills will give us a success point in our life, she has given, and we should be a very good global citizen, and it's needed teamwork. Non-verbal communication skills are also very important. Digital literacy, she has mentioned here. Nowadays, digital teaching is a prominent type of teaching in the world. But very recently, we have to observe that some countries have withdrawn, for your information, dear students, some countries have withdrawn digital teaching from high school studies very recently. You can remember. Yes, some countries have withdrawn digital teaching at high school level. Yes. At the same time here, Madam has mentioned here LSRW skills, listening, speaking, reading and writing. My question here is, after completion of education from KG to PG, we want to ask a student, we want to measure a student, his communication skills in speaking skill. His communication skills in speaking skill. The question here is, did we teach speaking skill in the classroom to the student? Did we give any training? Otherwise, did we give any speaking skill in the classroom? In my observation, as I worked as Director International Studies Acharya Nagarjuna University 5 years, there are many foreigners. Now and then I interacted with them. What is the classroom teaching of their countries? In my observation, Indian students are bench-bound listeners. Indian students are bench-bound listeners. They never open their mouth in the classroom except responding for attendance. Then how can we expect that they speak well? They have very good communication skills in speaking. Here, listening, speaking, reading and writing in our syllabus or curriculum, 100% of the marks are given only for writing skill. Only for writing skill. 100% of the marks are given only for writing skill. 0 marks for listening skill, 0 marks for speaking skill, 0 marks for reading skill. Then how can we expect the students develop their speaking skill well? Professor Paul, you want to speak? Yeah, please. Yeah.
Sir, as you said this, LSRW, in our schools we have been practicing to learn any language, minimum first listen, speak, read and write.
Yes.
But from our schools we are starting with the reverse order.
Exactly.
Writing,
Yes.
then reading,
Yes.
speaking, and lastly we are allowing the students to listen.
Yes.
This is the reason we are not able to communicate properly.
Yeah. That's
this is the
right.
thing.
That's good
Practices
observation.
of pedagogies is wrong in in our present schools.
That's good observation, Professor Paul. We are going in reverse. 100% of the marks are given. Indians, they always neglect curriculum. They always concentrate on syllabus. Indians always neglect curriculum. They always concentrate on syllabus because marks are given only for syllabus, not for curriculum. This is one of the major problems in Indian context in my observation here. Many a time we forget that there is a curriculum. There is a curriculum. In curriculum implementation, we fail a lot. Syllabus is only a part of curriculum. Syllabus is only a part of curriculum, but 100% marks are given only for syllabus, but not for curriculum. What is this curriculum? The progress of the student in the classroom, the progress of the student in the library, the progress of the student in the laboratory, the progress of the students in the playground, the progress of the students in the co-curricular activities, the progress of the student in the extracurricular activities is curriculum. But unfortunately, we ask the questions only from syllabus, not from the curriculum. At this juncture, I want to give you another observation here. William Shakespeare, though he was playing his dramas, and Oxford and Cambridge universities are very nearby, he never attended Oxford and Cambridge universities. And his education was purely practical. He never attended. Sometimes in my classroom, I ask my students, don't waste your time in the classroom. Don't waste your time in the library. Humorously, I ask my students, don't waste your time in the library. Don't waste your time in the classroom. Shakespeare never wasted his time in the library and the classroom. His knowledge was purely practical. My observation here, we miss something in practical teaching in our syllabus and curriculum. Whenever Shakespeare was writing dramas, there were university wits. They studied either at Oxford and Cambridge, but their dramas were not popular like the dramas of William Shakespeare. His study was purely practical. But unfortunately, we miss something in our curriculum and syllabus, practical teaching. That's another observation. And Madam has said here many important areas, including the psychological maladies. The psychological maladies in the sense here, where nowadays we read in the newspaper, otherwise in the media, even a 9th class student committed suicide. One of the reasons here is we concentrate only for syllabus but not for curriculum. If we concentrate fully curriculum, certainly we can avoid such psychological maladies. That's another observation. At the same time, for digital literacy is concerned, as we have discussed already, yes, and there are some problems with digital literacy. At the same time here, the entire mobile phone, the uses of entire mobile phone, it spoils the valuable time. Many surveys, they have given this observation. So I shouldn't speak a long time because I have chaired this session. I have some limitations, and I congratulate Professor Saraswati Rao Iyer. She has presented an effective communication skills paper with complete information. At the same time here, I thank the organizers of this particular conference, especially Professor Saroja Garu, Professor Vimala Garu, Professor Swarupa Rani Garu, and the other faculty of this famous institute. At the same time here, my good friend Professor Adam Paul. And I supposed to be here in the afternoon for valedictory session, but I have to go to Visakhapatnam by evening train. I have taken the permission of Professor Swarupa Rani Garu to participate here. She has given me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of management, principal, organizing committee, I convey my deep regards and hearty thanks to Professor Saraswati Madam. Madam, your knowledge and experiences have provided us with a wealth of information and inspiration. Thank you, ma'am. We are truly honored to have had you here. Thank you, ma'am. I sincerely thank Chenna Reddy sir for chairing the session. Thank you, sir. And thank you, sir, for your suggestion about the curriculum and also practical teaching. And we are really very thankful to you for giving us that thought of curriculum. As we are teacher educators, we always teach about syllabus and curriculum, but what you have stressed about LSRW, all are real truths, and we agree with you. Thank you very much for your suggestions, sir. And now I request Professor Rajendra Prasad Garu to greet the gathering. Sir.
respected principal of the college, the correspondent, the management, the members of the staff, and our distinguished guests from the Nagarjuna University, Channa Reddy garu and Mrs. Saraswati garu. I am very much delighted to listen to your paper, madam. I would like to call it not just a paper, it is a textbook. It's really wonderful presentations you have made, and with rapt attention. I didn't want to really listen to anything here. I am 90 years old, so I am not supposed to listen. But still, with rapt attention, I listen to what you have. It's out of your conviction and your research experience that you brought about so many wonderful mysteries of social competencies. I'm very happy. It's true to her name. So that is what she has given is a Saraswati-tization of social competencies. It's a new concept model we can give to. మరి చానారెడ్డి గారు కూడా చాలా మంచి విషయాలు చెప్పారు. I belong to the oldest administrative system of the Nagarjuna University. I was also in the executive council. It was not called executive council then, it was called syndicate. People thought that was bad in taste, and then they changed it to board of management. Those days we didn't have education there. So our Kuru colleges were the representatives where so much of changes and reforms have taken place. College of Education, Yale College of Education, St. Joseph, together as one body we work together all along. Now we have so many colleges, and even at the university level you have wonderful faculties, professors over there. I'm glad to see such a fast expansion of education. As an old man, as the oldest man attending here, I would like to take you back to the ancient days, even to the time of creation of this world. Can you go back even in your imagination? God has created the entire world, the universe, the nature, the skies and the constellations, the earth, the hills and valleys and oceans. Everything has been created in full, in abundance, in profusion, we can say. And then God, having done everything in regard to their nature, and then He has created man and a woman to begin. And then, is that all? What is it that man and woman can do with so much before him, so many resources, unending resources, challenges and wonders before him? And God knows He is a wonderful teacher. God is the first teacher. He taught 2 students. He has only 2 students to begin with. So He taught them what we now competencies, but in those He did not say that. He said, be fruitful and multiply, extend, expand, control, rule. All these things are the abilities, innate abilities, endowments, entitlements that God has given right in the creation. He has created a man, give him all the resources, and then created the abilities and the skills, the potentialities, the inborn abilities and potentialities, the nature to take care of those things. He has to go and manipulate these things. Today we call them competencies. So competencies are specifications of God-given qualities. God has given them as general qualities, general ability to every person in this world. There is no person who is devoid of these divine potentialities. No. But then the way their potential have been nurtured, manipulated, specified into competencies, into manifestations and utilities, all these things that come under competencies which we are studying now. This responsibility has fallen now on the educationists, the reformers, the social workers and so on. We are not doing anything, bringing anything new. The word education, what is the meaning of education? You know, perhaps you forgot everybody. Can somebody say, what's the meaning of education? Yes? Educare. Yes? ఒక్కొక్కళ్ళు 100 సార్లు కంపోజిషన్ రాయిస్తారు మీ నేను కూడా టీచర్ నండి. టు డ్రా అవుట్, దట్స్ ఆల్. Educare means to draw out. That's all. మీ పని అంటే టీచర్ పని, పెద్ద ఎడ్యుకేషన్ మినిస్ట్రీ, ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అడ్వైజర్స్, ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ప్రొఫెసర్కి చేయని పని ఏంటంటే నీళ్లు తోడమే. వెల్, దెర్ ఇస్ ఎ వెల్ full of water with streams and fountains right within. That's all been created by God. Your business is to draw water and then use them for washing or cleaning or bathing or drinking, for irrigation and so on. So that is what we are doing in this educational system, drawing what the student has, an individual has, a being has, which was given to him by God himself. We are not, human beings cannot give all those wonderful things. When we say intelligence, can you give intelligence to a child, madam? Can we give? He has got to be intelligent by nature. We nurture the intelligence. That's what it's supposed to be. So, the responsibility of the teacher is a representative of God himself, representative of the divine force, and see that those who are brought to your care, brought to your training or education, what you to develop them, to see that the competencies are rightly understood, rightly extracted, and rightly pointed towards beneficial and useful directions. So you are only a catalyst. Is only an instrument. A teacher, a teaching system, or whatever is only an instrument, a catalyst or a facility, a facilitator of the transformation God has originally intended for the human being to become what He expects the child to become. So these are the things that we should not forget basically, because though many things come, many topics, new topics are coming, which are beyond my understanding even now. I just listened to some people talking about, and then artificial intelligence, for example. I don't know what is why should intelligence be artificial? Can it not be natural? You call it artificial. Why do you want artificial things here? But then speaker after speaker on online, offline. ఆ మాట కూడా నాకేం బాగలేదు. ఇన్ ప్రెజెన్స్ వారు ఉంటే ఆఫ్లైన్ స్పీకర్ అంటారేంటి? ఆఫ్లైన్ హ్యాస్ ద నెగటివ్ కానోటేషన్ కదండి. There are online speakers, speaker in presence, speaker in the very presence. So speakers that are present and speakers that are not present, you can say absent speakers and all that. Anyway, artificial intelligence అనగానే నాకు చాలా అర్థం అవట్లేదు అది. కానీ నాకు వచ్చింది ఏంటంటే కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటే నా మైండ్ డైవర్ట్ అయిపోయింది. ఎందుకంటే మా మనవడు, మా గ్రాండ్ సన్ Sudeep Teli is doing his research in PhD in Artificial University in University of Georgia, Atlanta. ఈ ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ again వాడే గుర్తొస్తాడు నాకు, అసలు సబ్జెక్ట్ పోతాయి. అలాగే మేమిద్దరం ఆడి గురించి చెప్పుకోవడం మొదలుపెట్టాం. అందరూ మొబైల్లో ఫోటోలు చూసుకుంటూ వాడి మొదలుపెట్టాం. ఎందుకంటే we're not presently interested what it is. We're not able to understand. Many things that have come as an educational objectives or educational terms are not really understandable, not really relevant to the present day generation. So these are the problems that are facing us, and I'm extremely happy that the management has made me just a small part of this program. Somebody said the food is served is very good. That's why perhaps we have come for the food and all those things. ఇక్కడ నా ఓల్డ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఎవరైనా ఉన్నారండి, మన దగ్గర చదువుకున్నవాళ్ళు, పొరపాటు నా దగ్గర చదువుకున్నవాళ్ళు అక్కడ ఉన్నారు. ఈ స్టాఫ్ అంతా ఓల్డ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ అండి, ఇంక్లూడింగ్ డాక్టర్ సరోజా. ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. We are indeed delighted for your presence and very concrete substance. I wish, are you giving hard copies of to the students? హార్డ్ కాపీస్ అంటే మొబైల్లో చూసుకుని అంటున్నారు. అదే చెప్పారు సార్ వద్దని. హార్డ్ కాపీస్ అంటే ఎలా ఉంటాయి, ఇందులో హార్డ్నెస్ ఏముండదు, ఊరికి తెల్లకాయితాలే. మళ్ళీ వీటికి హార్డ్ కాపీస్ అని పేరు ఎందుకో మరి. మొత్తం ఎప్పటి నుంచో మన పొట్టకు మంచి ఉన్నాయి కాగితాలు. ఆ కాగితాలను పట్టుకుని హార్డ్ కాపీస్ అంటే ఏం బాగుందండి అది. నేను ఎప్పుడు హార్డ్ కాపీస్ని ఇన్సిస్ట్ చేస్తాను, ఎందుకంటే లెజర్ టైంలో ఇంటి దగ్గర కూర్చొని చదువుకోవచ్చు. వారు చెప్పిందంతా క్లాస్ బై క్లాస్ అవన్నీ వరుసగా చదువుకోవడానికి వీలవుతుంది. వెల్, దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎ నెసెసిటీ. అందరూ అనుకుంటున్నా మొబైల్లో ఉందని చూసుకోండి, ఆ సెల్ ఫోన్లో ఉందని చూసుకోండి, అందులో ఉందో చూసుకోండి అంటే ఎవరు చూడరు. నేను 100% చెప్తున్నాను, ఎవరు చూడరు అందులో. అది దట్స్ ఇంపాసిబుల్. కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ కష్టం. ఎడపాల్ గారు I just now referred to Adam from the Bible, not Adam Paul. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless management. అమ్మా సరోజ్ మేడం గురించి చెప్పాలి, నేను చెప్పాలా? మేడం రండి. మీరు నా గురించి చెప్పాక నేను మీ గురించి. మరి రిటైర్ అయిన కాడి నుంచి రిటైర్ అవుతారు సాధారణంగా. రిటైర్ దగ్గర నుంచి జనరల్గా రెస్ట్ తీసుకోవడం, మరి పిల్లలు పెళ్ళిళ్ళు మనవాళ్ళు ముని మనవాళ్ళు నాకులాగా చేస్తూ ఉంటారు, కానీ కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేయరు. మరి ఈ బిడ్డకైతే దేవుడు ఎంత స్ట్రెంగ్త్, ఎంత ఎంతూసియాజం, ఎంత కమిట్మెంట్ ఇచ్చారంటే రిటైర్ అయిన తర్వాతకి మోర్ ఛాలెంజింగ్ వర్క్ తీసుకున్నారండి. ఆమె తీసుకోవడమే కాకుండా మా అందరి చేత ఏదో రష్ తెచ్చుకుందాం ఈ పొద్దునంటే సార్ ఒక చిన్న మీటింగ్ పెట్టానండి, చిన్న కాన్ఫరెన్స్ పెట్టానంట. సో షీ ఈస్ వెరీ బిజీ, వెరీ మచ్ కమిటెడ్. దో షీ ఈస్ నాట్ ఫిజికల్లీ వెల్, she has overcome several inconveniences, but still, as I'm really proud of her that she was one of our students in the past, as a fellow teacher educator, but a very enthusiastic, investigative and research oriented teacher educator with challenging tasks before her. God bless you, Amma. Thank you.
ఒక్క నిమిషం మా గురువు గారి గురించి. ఐఎమ్ సో ప్రౌడ్ ఆఫ్ ప్రొఫెసర్ రాజేంద్ర ప్రసాద్. కూర్చోండి సార్. ఎందుకంటే ఆయన ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ పిహెచ్డి చేసి వచ్చారు మా ఏఎల్ కాలేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్కి. అప్పుడు నేను ఎంఎడ్. ఆ ఎంఎడ్లో ఆయన చెప్పింది లెర్నింగ్ టు బీ అనే ఒక పుస్తకం మాకందరికీ ప్రజెంట్ చేశారు. సార్ గుర్తుందా? లెర్నింగ్ టు బీ, 4 pillars of learning. Learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together, learning to become. These are the 4 pillars of education. Really, it is imprinted in my mind. I will never forget. And my mind and my brain is onto it. దానికి స్టీఫెన్ కోవే 4 L's పెట్టాడు 8th హ్యాబిట్లో. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్? వాట్ ఈజ్ లైఫ్? లివింగ్, పుడతాము. దెన్ లెర్నింగ్, లవింగ్, లీవింగ్ ఏ లెగసీ. సార్ ఈజ్ లీవింగ్ ఏ లెగసీ అండ్ ఈజ్ ఏ స్టాల్వర్ట్ రోల్ మోడల్. నేను చేసింది ఎంత, మై గాడ్, ఎర్లీ మార్నింగ్ లేచి సారు రైటింగ్. ఐ కాంట్ రైట్, but he can write at 90 years with a lot of zeal, going to the roots. Just now he mentioned about competencies. I was just discussing with Vimala. See, what is a competence? He has gone to the roots. That is already there, educere. But what we are doing, first of all, we have a value for education. We have talent. Then the values, then attitudes, then skills, then competencies. This is a hierarchy to bring out the best. That's what I'm thinking. Really, the audience, the participants, I really appreciate and admire for your zeal to be here and to your zeal to learn also. Here, psychosocial competencies are always there, but we have to refine them, re-educate them, use them in present situations to thrive our difficulties. Their difficulties in the past generations are different, but our difficulties are different. Like hard, soft, on, off. These are some difficulties, but some of the words now you are accustomed, we are not accustomed. But unless we know them, we cannot swim across the flow. Thank you.
I am very sure after a long time all the audience are listening. You all agree with me. Professor Rajendra Prasad, when he was talking, addressing everyone, he has captured everyone's attention. That is the greatness of a learned and experienced person. I know how much we are present for online, isn't it? Of course, present, being present in person and delivering a message have a lot of impact. We are very much aware of that, and you also proved for that. So we have a lot of appreciation, and we are glad to have you, Professor Rajendra Prasad Garu, who is a constant guide and well-wisher, closely moving with the administration and events of our institution. So we thank you so much for your constant guidance and your generous contribution, which we have experienced in all aspects of SJCE. Of course, presence of our dear principal, Professor Swaruparani, always carries his wisdom to us. So we are also glad to have the better half of Professor Rajendra Prasad, Mrs. Lakshmi Garu. Please come forward, as we would like to honor you and extend our gratitude to you. I request Dr. Saroja, a great legend, the president of GCBPA, and Professor Vimala, the member of GCPA, to honor them with their shawl, and Dr. Grace Indra, ma'am, to present the memento. I wish that Professor T. Swaruparani, the principal, and the administrator, Dr. Sister Rosalyn, to be present as we honor them. Please wait 1 minute.
గురువిని గారి గురించి ఒక్క మాట చెప్పొస్తాను. ఏమండి, మా గురువుని కాపాడేది మా గురువిని. అమ్మా, అసలు వీ హ్యావ్ టు గివ్ హర్ ఏ బిగ్ హ్యాండ్. మై గాడ్. అదే కాదు, తన హెల్త్ చూసుకుంటూ ఆయన హెల్త్ కాపాడుతూ నిత్యం ఆయన గురించి ఆలోచించే భార్య, రోల్ మోడల్. షీ ఈజ్ దేవత. మేము రీసెర్చ్ కోసం వెళ్తే సారు అలసిపోతారని చెప్పేసి ఈ టైంలో రండి, ఆ టైంలో రండి అని చెప్పేసి చెప్పేవాళ్ళు. ఐ రియలీ అప్రిషియేట్ అండ్ అడ్మైర్. గివ్ హర్ ఎ బిగ్ ఓవేషన్, స్టాండింగ్ ఓవేషన్. భార్య అంటే మనం ఇంట్లో భార్యలు ఏం చేసేస్తాము, ఇంట్లో పిల్లల్ని చూసుకోవాలి, ఇల్లు మేనేజ్ చేసుకోవాలి, వంటలు చేయాలి. వంటల్లో మేటి అందరి పిల్లల్ని కూడా ఎంత బాగా డెవలప్ చేశారంటే తరతరాలుగా దీస్ టూ పీపుల్ హ్యావ్ గివెన్ దేర్ ఓన్ బెస్ట్ అండ్ దే ఆర్ రోల్ మోడల్స్ ఫర్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ అస్. వాళ్ళిద్దరు ఫోటో పెట్టుకొని పూజ చేయటం అంటే, దేవుళ్ళు అంటే వేరే వాళ్ళు కాదు, మనుషుల రూపంలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళు వీళ్ళే దేవుళ్ళు, అంతే కదా. ఫ్రమ్ ద జనరేషన్ ఆఫ్టర్ జనరేషన్. ఎందుకంటే హూ ఎవర్ థింగ్స్ ఫర్ అవర్ సేక్, దే ఆర్ వెల్ విషర్స్. నాట్ ఓన్లీ వెల్ విషర్స్, దేవుడు ఉన్నాడో లేదో బిలీవ్ చేస్తాము, కనిపించాడు, కనిపించిన దేవత దేవుళ్ళు, అంతే సార్. ఏం లేదు సార్.
So it's a time for us to honor our the present, just presented her opinion and suggestions through her presentation. Thank you, ma'am, Saraswati Garu, for your valuable sharings and your ideas, which enlightened the gathering and also on the topic. It was very relevant, and thank you so much for your efficient sharing. We request Professor T. Swaruparani, the principal, and Dr. Sister Rosalyn, the administrator, to honor Saraswati Madam Garu with a shawl and a memento. Thank you, ma'am. We are extremely happy to have the presence of Professor Chennareddy Garu. Though he was supposed to be for the valedictory, he made it, and to have his presence and greetings for us. So we are very grateful to you, sir, for your eminent sharing, and also we would like to honor you with a shawl and a memento. I request our dear Principal Swarupa Garu and our dear Sister Rosaline, the Administrator, to give a shawl and present the memento. Thank you, sir. We are having online. Somebody wants to present, no? One lady was here. What is your name, madam? Nirmala.
Dr. T.
Yes? You please go up for the photo.
నేను మేడంకి ఒకటి ఇస్తాను.
Okay. Okay. We are very glad that as you have been long hearing about Dr. Saroja Garu, who is the president of Global Counseling Psychologists Association, and Vimala madam, like to honor her and present a small memento. Please madam, come to this dais, and we would like to have a photo with them also. Sorry for making you to climb up. Young and energetic, give you a clap to her. At this age, a lot of initiation taken to actually to realize this program. And every day she was coming to this campus to make sure what is going to happen these 2 days. We are ever grateful to you, madam. We have learned a lot from you, and your constant presence and support really inspire and guided us.
మేడం వాళ్ళ గార్డెన్లో సరస్వతి ఉంటారు, అందరికీ తెలుసు. మేడం ఎప్పుడు మనసులో సరస్వతి, ఆలోచనలో కూడా సరస్వతి, ఇంకా తప్ప వేరే డిస్కషన్స్ ఏమి ఉండవు మా దగ్గర. సో అలాంటి మేడంకి ఒక చిన్న, షీ ఈజ్ ద మోడల్ ఫర్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ అస్.
Thank you, ma'am. So it's a memorable time for us, and now we move on to the presentation by Dr. Nirmala. You want to say something, madam, before that?
By the time. So before I give time, just 2 minutes, I grab only 2 minutes. I stood here to say a word of thank you to Professor Rajendra Prasad sir, who is my teacher in my M.Ed. And Dr. Saroja ma'am is also my teacher in my B.Ed class. And something that I want to say specially today is, sir is the person who is chiefly responsible to place me in a college of education. In the year 1988, when I was doing my M.Ed in Yale College of Education, he has sent me to Machilipatnam B.Ed College, and after that I came here and I completed my service here. So the beginning of my service is with sir's blessings, and the ending is also with sir's blessing, because today is my last official day. This month I am going to retire, and this is my last official day in the college. So I am very happy and proud to say that I am the student of Professor Rajendra Prasad and Dr. B. Saroja madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Though it is very, very sad for us, that's why we did not make it known. But the Dr. Grace Indra's services are very much valued, and she has really contributed a lot. And we wish that her presence and her guidance and contribution will continue. Like our dear Madam Dr. Saroja. And we were very happy to have her presence every day in this campus these days. So that is how we really relish the contributions of all our eminent personalities, especially the professors in our college. We are really thankful to God for the gift of them. God bless every one of them with good cheer and health. Yeah, thank you. Can you please come, madam, for your presentation? Thank you for your patient waiting, and we will listen to you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll remember this college for one thing, because they gave me a tough task. After all the stalwarts have of the present. So most of you will remember me for a long time. So at present moment and before moments, we have seen a combination of emotions, joy and farewell also. But I would like to talk about happiness, which is the only goal of most of us. So happiness is a journey where it is subjective for so many of us. So by standing this word, I would like to say the study of mine is on happiness index in India, where we talk about one oldest proverb of Telugu, Santosham Sagambalam. I gave this to artificial intelligence. It has converted the downline, Sukhaha Ardha Shaktihi Asti. This is not mine, it is from artificial intelligence. But we define happiness in different words. Now, the Western world realized the importance of happiness along with UN, and thus they started counting the happiness of the countries in 2012. It is a UN initiative, and it reported that all the yellow colored things are happiest countries, all the purple colored things are the countries which have a middle level or some medium level of happiness, and all the countries which are at the blue side are not so happy. So, next slide please. The top 5 happiest countries in 2024 were Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, and the 5th one is Netherlands. Some of them ruled us. And coming to the status of this report considered 6 factors, that is social cooperation, income, health and freedom, of which 4 are very important. And coming to the next slide, we will see what is the score of India. India has 126th position among 145 countries. That means, are we not happy? We are so much happy and contented. But the thing is, if we compare the score, the Norway score is 7 point something and our score is only 4.054. So compare it to other big BRICS nations, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, we can say that the India's ranking is significantly lower. So among our neighbors, Nepal, Pakistan, Myanmar, Bangladesh are ranking higher. I wish Sir, thank you. I want to say one single point about you. The present generation is referring to ChatGPT for their information, whereas I have been observing, sir, he is writing on the paper with his intellectual. Thank you, sir. Next slide. So, coming to few points of this report, older age is associated with highest life satisfaction in India, and they have some claims that they have high income and they are satisfied. On an average, older in India, most of the people are low satisfied, and the age group is between middle-aged people. And you can please skip the slide. So there are some surprising points. On this basis, we have conducted a study on 183 people, and the study revealed the following things. The objectives of this study were determine the respondents' overall happiness, and we have to associate with several factors of happiness, and finally we have studied self-esteem of youth and their impact on happiness. And the participants belong to Guntur districts, and we have selected 2 standard questionnaires, and the study is a mixture of primary and secondary data. Then these are the findings. People are happy by erasing their bad memories. People are not happy when their wishes are not fulfilled. This is no age bar. All the ages have shown same significant change. And next slide, please. This one is a toxic combination. If India is not happy, that means it is a toxic combination of government policies, affordability crisis, economic policies, and so on. And there are negative emotions which are playing. There was a earthquake in Myanmar, and one YouTuber shot it and put it on YouTube, how the scene is going on, and in 31 minutes it has got some 21,000 views and 5,000 likes. This is the latest information which I saw now. That means people are finding their happiness in a world which is not happy outside, but they are finding the happiness inside the world which is not real. Next slide. And can we say that if the Indians are not happy and if the generation is not happy, we have to do some corrective actions, and the policies have taken by the government are Tripura, which has made its association with Labhya Foundation, and it has introduced its classes on happiness from the syllabus. No need of the slides. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So you have presented and you have conducted a study on happiness. That this is the first time, I think. So here, this is the first study which was presented on happiness. Really, it is excellent. Ma'am, worrying trend, you have mentioned that. That is the main reason for having lesser scores in happiness. The trend, worrying trend and other factors of the government policies and all this you have mentioned. Yes, there are also other findings, not here. In this seminar I am talking about. This is the first paper which was corrected. Okay. Thank you very much. You presented well and you have done a study. For that I have to appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for chairing the session, and thank you, Dr. Nirmala, for your presentation. Now we move on to the online session by Dr. Ratika Tharoor, Associate Professor, Head Faculty of Psychology and HRM, Arden University, Gulf Medical University, UAE. A highly qualified, inspirational and self-motivated professional offering nearly 22 years of insightful experience across education sector. Rich and insightful experience in helping children to develop intellectually, socially, personally and emotionally by offering an educational loving atmosphere. Madam, we are very happy to have you online to share the session, and You have been a resource person for many international online conferences, especially on positive psychology and parenting, and transforming healthcare with artificial intelligence from Gulf Medical University. We are very happy to have you as a resource person. So we welcome you, madam, to continue with your the session. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Am I audible? Am I visible?
Madam, we
Okay,
are
thank
able to
you.
hear you.
అందరు బాగున్నారా? నాకు కొంచెం కొంచెం తెలుగు తెలుసు.
Oh.
దట్స్ ఐ థాట్ ఓకే ఐ విల్ జస్ట్ కమ్యూనికేట్ విత్ యూ. అండ్ మీరు అనుకోవచ్చు ఏంటి మీరు అడుగుతున్నారు, లంచ్ టైం అయిపోయింది, ఆకలిస్తుంది, బాగున్నారా అడుగుతున్నారు. బట్ స్టిల్ దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ టుడే ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు ఫోకస్ ఆన్. ఇట్స్ అ టాపిక్ ఆన్ రెసిలియన్సీ. సో ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ గోయింగ్ టు present my slide. 1 minute. Let's check. Okay.
Madam?
I'll just check.
Yeah, she is trying to. Are you going to have a screen sharing, madam?
I'm not getting the screen sharing, ma'am. No problem.
Oh, okay.
If you can provide me with the access, it will be good. Can you share the screen? That also will be good. Okay, I will continue with the thing. Okay, good afternoon. So, today's topic, what I will be focusing is on emotional resilience as a support system for youth. As you all aware, we are facing a lot of adversities in our life, like we are leading a very fast world and we are going through a lot of stress or work overload, and sometimes we are not able to compete with others. All this has created a lot of issues where the person feels they are not able to cope up with what is happening around them. So after this topic is one of the important topic as a youth, because you are the global citizens and you should be in a position where you can bounce back from the reality of the situation, and you have to cope up with what is around you in the environment and face the adversities of things which is happening around you. So I start this presentation with a quote: "The greatest glory in living lies in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." So every time, yes, in our life, it's not that everything is going to happen smoothly, everything will be successful. We might be in certain situation where we might have a lot of failures, sometimes we might have downs in our life, but a person who is able to with all those things is the person who is able to do things in his life. So we cannot say that the person who is not able to overcome these things is not worthwhile. We have to provide with the support system and we have to guide the person so that he or she is able to reach to the level, whatever potential, whatever competencies they have. So the objectives today, what I have thought is like, I want to define what is emotional resilience, what are the characteristics of a person who is resilient, and how to help these people to be more resilient, that is youths like you, like how you can become more resilient, and activities which can help you to build your resilience through support system. Now, looking into the emotional resilience, it is your ability to respond to a stressful situation and or some unexpected situation or crisis, and you're bouncing back and even grow, which might be there are a lot of pressures, threats, everything, but your ability to grow. So this is where we say that where there is a will, there is a way. Okay, so you are bouncing back and you're growing and you're able to face those things. So this happens because you have a positive adaptation which is inbuilt in our system, and sometimes we also get some sort of a support from the external environment, like people around us or whatever. So resilience can be, so it's a skill or it's a soft skill which doesn't happen on a time, but it develops over a time. Like people are exposed and they are navigating to lot of experience in their life. They are facing lot of stress, and they are trying the trial and error method in which they know what are the solutions to the problem, how to react, how to overcome those situations, and what sort of an approach they have to go into those things. So this resilience aspect, it's not something which it happens in the adolescent age. It should start from the young age itself. The earlier the better. So usually if the parents are able to, as parents, they are able to make them more resilient. And also, because most of the time we are spending in the educational institutes, even teachers, educators, they are able to help the students to overcome or to understand how to cope up with the things. Then they become very good and they will be able to overcome any adversities. For children, they are more resilient when they are experiencing lot of pro-social development, like lot of adversities are happening in their life, and they are more exposed to the lot of things which is happening nowadays. Like you can see bullying, abuse, or might be challenges. Even the educational system has changed. Now the so based on these factors, they should be trained to be more resilient to face. Now, why this is important? Because many adversities is whatever we are facing in life, it is inevitable. We have to go through with that. We cannot say that, okay, my life should be very smooth, it should go on into a better way, there should not be any problems and certain things. Because now being a global citizen, there can be a lot of systems, there are a lot of things which might happen for which you have to accept the fact, yes, this is a thing and I will have to cope with the things, I have to adapt myself. Otherwise, if you don't adapt, might be you won't survive in this environment. And there are also a lot of unique challenges which each individual is facing, because we are not made of the same genetic coding, or we are not faced having the same personality, and also our thoughts, beliefs, culture, religion, everything is different. So even might be something might be easy for you, might be it's something a challenging situation for the other person. So we have to understand like what are the challenges each individual is facing and how to overcome those things. And there is an emotional buoyancy, that is people are very resilient to certain emotional aspect, like they are not able to overcome certain things. So now what are these things and how they can thrive or face this adversity, that also becomes a very important thing. So when there is an adversity, first is, yes, we go through the situation, then we have to think like what we have to do, and might be there will be a duration for the thing to overcome the things, like might be a recovery period or might be certain situation, and in the end we try to form certain solutions, or we manipulate certain situations, or we adapt to certain situations so that we can thrive or we can overcome those aspects. Now, looking into the resilience, it's a process. It goes with a lot of procedures, steps, and we have to plan like how to overcome that. But it is not a trait. It is not a quality which you can find in the person. And we cannot always say a person is to be resilient or they have resiliency capacity or whatever. No, that sort of a thing is not that. Each individual is interacting with the environment, and they have a lot of process, like they are thinking critically, they are evaluating, they are analytically using certain strategies, and they are finding solutions. All this they are doing so that it is helping them to promote their well-being or protect them against what are the certain risk factors they are facing in their life. So these processes can help the people to cope with certain strategies, and when they are coping up with the strategies, it's not that individual alone will be able to cope up with the things. He needs a good family support. They might be the educators in the schools, and also people around the neighborhood, like the communities, and certain policies also might help the people to be more resilient and to overcome this problem, which might be at times might likely in a while. Now, there is a resilient model where the person as an individual can find out what is the meaning in life, what are the positive emotions they have, what sort of social support system they can get, what coping mechanism they can use, and how they can develop their physical well-being. Okay, so when they look into all these things, then they will be able to overcome, or they can manifest certain things by which they can really cope up with the situation. John Bashan, as a person who has brought a resilience model, where he says that making some changes in your life will be easier for you to overcome the challenges, like having positive emotion, like how you feel about your current situation and what you can do to overcome that situation. So usually what we do is we ask the person to introspect, look into like what they want to do or how they want to do. Sometimes speak to the others about what is happening in their life so that they can overcome those suppressed emotions. And also some people are asked to write a journaling, like they can write all the positive things which they have gone through in their life, so that whenever they see those things, it helps them to overcome the situation. And one best idea will be to write some positive quotes and keep it in your room. So whenever you're seeing that quote, it will give you some sort of a positivity, and you will be able to face a lot of adversity in your life. Next is the social support, like maybe the circle of friends, family members with whom you can get a lot of advice, or even certain encouragement which we get. It's a very basic thing which will help us to have a or develop our self-esteem to reach our potential or reach our competencies which we want to attain. Now, meaning in life, like how you view your life purpose, like what is your purpose in life. That should be like you should think about it. Like we should be some sort of purpose, not only for ourselves but also for the people around us. So community engagement or community social responsibility is something which is a very good aspect when we develop in our day-to-day life. So when this aspect is developed, then what happens? We get a lot of support system from the others around us, and it gives a meaning of life that we are doing something good for ourselves and also for the people around us. Now, coping is how do we respond to certain stress and manage our emotions? Like stress management, we talk about anger management, all these things. But might be each individual has their own coping strategy. So you should check like which coping strategy will be best for you, and based on that you can manage your emotions, and you can at times control certain emotions which might have some negative impact for yourself and for the others. Now, physical well-being is how healthy your body is functioning. As youth, you are being in an adolescent and now you are in an adult phase. So might be sometimes you might be skipping your breakfast, or you're not sleeping well, or sometimes not doing a physical workout and not socializing. So these also might have an impact on your health. So when there is because always we say that there is a connection between body and mind. So if you are physically okay, then your function be okay, that is your thought or your mind, everything will be okay. But if there is something that's going on in your thinking and you're not able to overcome, that can have an impact on your physical aspect also. Now, there are two resilience theory, like one is the risk factor and vulnerability theory, and the other one is protective factor mechanism. Now, when we say risk factor theory, it is a challenge model theory, where it says that the events, conditions, or whatever adversity we are facing in our life, it's due to our early life experience. So it can be like poverty, lack of family or community ties. It can be dysfunctional family environment, some illness in the family members, all this. So this will lead a person to develop some sort of a psychological issue or a maladaptation where the person is not able to cope up with the situation. When we look into the developmental factors, it is to do with your individual traits, might be to do with your genetic predisposition, some social skills like lack of social support because you don't want to socialize, you are always withdrawn, you sit away from the people, mood disorders, if some of you are facing through, like might be, it keeps on, the emotional regulation keeps on changing, like might be you're sad, sometimes you are happy or whatever it is, and sometimes it even is because of the cognitive impairment and inactive coping skills. If the person has these factors, then naturally you are more vulnerable to develop some sort of a malfunctioning or not able to cope up with certain situations. So protective factors is known as compensatory model, where there are two types of protective factors. One is through self-efficacy and self-esteem by developing social competency and communication skills, which already the previous speakers have told, like how you can develop and what you are supposed to do. And the mechanism is to get the resources, like get a social support, get the opportunity, learn and practice certain skills, be in certain wellness program, attend certain workshops, understand, be aware, like what is happening around you, mindfulness, all of this also do help you to develop some sort of a protective aspects. Now here I have given some idea about what are the individual's resilience, like how they can cope with the adversity and change, what are the vulnerable factors and what are the protective factors. Now if you look into the individual who is having self-confidence, who is having insight, who has self-control, who is very optimistic and sociable, might be, when we look into the vulnerable aspects, we can say that it might be due to lack of empathy that they are going into that situation, poor social skills, they don't have problem solving aspect, can be death or loss of somebody whom they who are taking care of them, or it can also be because of abuse or neglect. Now protective factors is like developing competence, like social competence, problem solving skills, empathy, supportive relationship, intellectual ability, self-efficacy and communication skill. Now how we can facilitate, who are the people who can facilitate? One is yourself. If you don't take the step to overcome this, it becomes very difficult. There might be the parents, might be the friends, might be the educators, and also the community members who are around us. They also have become a contributing stakeholders in developing the resiliency among the children as well as the youth. Now, demonstrating resiliency, when we look into the community resilience, there should be a connectiveness. There should be commitment to the community. Like I also belong to the community, so I will be doing certain things. And share values, being a volunteer to do certain, to organize or to support certain functioning which is happening in our community, and also we have to share the resource. What I have learned or what I have experienced, if I don't speak up to the other person, might be the other person is undergoing with the same problem, they won't be aware, like what are the things they have to. So based on certain resource sharing, or might be the role playing, or to by communicating, all this we can do. Now, what are the things the individual do when they are inhibiting resilience is, like they have a social discrimination, or they are not able to tolerate the laws and regulations which have been put. There can be a crime rate, there can be a community disorganization, and what the facilitators is like the people in the community, might be some organization, teachers, youth groups, might be the network events which is happening around them, that also. Now, how they can get the support is by having a strong cultural identity, by having a solid social support system, and also having an identification with the community, and being a cohesive community leadership, like you take the leadership aspect and you tell like what you want to do and how you want to change certain aspects which are happening in our community.
Excuse me, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam, can you summarize your presentation, please?
Okay,
Yeah, because it's already time for us for lunch. It is 1:35.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Can you-
as the youth, how you can build a resilience is by having a support system, and the best support system for you will be your parents, and after that the educators. Build empathy, have conditional, unconditional, positive regard, develop responsibility, accept accept success and failures, have an active lifestyle, develop social competence, tolerance, self-regulation. So all these are to be included. So I think what you can do is you can create a journal, you can keep somebody as your role model and then try to do or understand what are the things they are doing, and you can have a resilience inventory to check what are the problems you are facing and how you can overcome, and also use whatever you've learned from your experience as a coping strategy. Now, the best method will be ask a lot of questions, have an autonomy and self-resilience of what you want to do, connect with other people, taking charge and being responsible of the things. Humor is and build a strength and inner resource, opportunity for participation, so have certain workshops, clubs, conference, which I am very happy that you are conducting now. Pro-social bonding, like have positive activities which you can do with your students, have a boundary like what has to be done on a normal schedule, and also look into the safety and the security of the students. Life skills like how you encourage students to communicate what are their thoughts and feelings, and that's how we can overcome. Now, the overall summary is, resilience is not something which is inbuilt. It can be a learned aspect, and you can adapt to stress brought on by difficult life events. There are certain factors which we are into risk and we are into a challenging aspect. By using our protective skills and resources, we can overcome those things, and it's a natural process which you can acquire through assistance. Parents, caregivers, and also educators play a very important role in the development and nurturing of resilience in the youth as well as children. Thanks a lot. These are certain messages I want to bring to you guys, and hope you have a very productive and prosperous life to overcome your adversities and to reach your competency.
On behalf of the management and the institution, we extend our heartfelt gratitude, dear Madam, for your valuable sharing of your views and suggestions. Person to be honored, we extend our heartfelt appreciation and thanks to you for sparing your valuable time and sharing and enlightening the participants. Thank you, Madam. Please.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
sorry, because of the technical glitch, I was
Yeah,
not able to
I understand.
share my PPT.
Yeah.
But I have already shared with the organizers. So students who are interested to go through, you can contact the organizers and get it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless us all. So it's already time now for lunch. Please tell.
గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ టు ఆల్. పేపర్ ప్రజెంటర్స్ అందరూ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ వ్యాలిడిటీ సెషన్లో మీకు సర్టిఫికేట్స్ ఇవ్వబడుతుంది. మీరు ఎవ్వరూ వెళ్ళొద్దండి. ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ ఉంటేనే మీకు సర్టిఫికేట్ ఇస్తాము. ఓకే, మనకి డెలిగేట్స్ ఉన్నారు, వాళ్ళ ద్వారా ఎమ్మెల్యేస్ ఉన్నారు, 2 ఎమ్మెల్యే సర్టిఫికేట్స్ తీసుకోండి. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ. యూ కెన్ గో ఫర్ ద లంచ్.
వాళ్ళకు కూడా రిమైండ్ చేయండి, సర్టిఫికేట్స్ ఎప్పుడు ఇస్తారు
వాళ్ళు మెసేజ్
రిమైండ్ చేయండి. పెట్టారా? సరే.
ఈ వయసులో కొత్త సూటి కోసం చిన్న చితక ఉద్యోగాల కోసం తాలూకు నిజాలు మమ్మల్ని నిలువ నీడ లేకుండా చేయటంతో విధి లేక మేము చూస్తున్నాం. ఓపికగా జీవితం సాగించే మిమ్మల్ని సులభంగా చూసేవాళ్ళం. అప్పట్లో మీ ఇంటి స్థలాన్ని అపార్ట్మెంట్ ఎలా చూసి చౌకగా కాజేయాలి.
St. Joseph want to do a collaboration with UKM, you may contact UKM Global. If you want to have mutual collaborations or partnership with Malaysian University like University of Malaysia and Anwar University, you may contact the National Registration Office. And if you want to contact UPM, you need to contact IPTRA. And for University Science of Malaysia, International Mobility and Collaboration. Various departments are working on international networking. So hopefully one day, St. Joseph can collaborate with one of the universities in Malaysia. So recommendation for settling global competencies, number one, enhancing intercultural education improvement in school. What are we doing today is one of the elements to strengthen global competency, because I also want to understand how the Indians are educated in Myanmar and how the teachers are educated in Myanmar. We don't know much, but by having this kind of conference, we may have a better understanding each other. And also expanding community engagement initiatives to foster collaboration across ethnic groups, Malays, Chinese, Indian, and then Indian Malaysian, and Indian from India, Malaysian Chinese, and Chinese from China, or Malay from Malaysia, and Malay from Sri Lanka. We need to have engagement of that to make sure that we are better in the global competency. Elaborating technology and digital element to connect Malaysian students with the international peers and global perspectives. The same thing what we are doing now. And again, I just want to make sure that Malaysia's market 2025 prioritizes education. We allocated around 24 billion Malaysian ringgit, which is 6.8 billion is allocated to technical and vocational education, because the issue in Malaysia now that young people, they don't want to learn scientific studies, they don't want to understand science technology in education. We have lack of motivation to do that because they are moving to other studies or other areas. And 1.5 billion is special education programs. In our faculty also we have Competence Center, we have special education training programs as well. Actually, because we
acquire certain skills that are
and counseling acts. So the education system, with its emphasis on diversity, unity and global engagement. So centers come to Malaysia so we can know each other, and policies and initiatives promoting intercultural learning and higher education, internationalization, ensure that Malaysia remains competitive in global landscape as well. So cultural effort in integrating intercultural education, global research, we can do joint research together to understand each other as well. So I think we have a presentation. So come to Malaysia, many people will visit Petronas in Saudi. Not very expensive. Visit Asia, not too expensive. Come to Malaysia and spend a few more days, and then we can go to Singapore and many other things. So by saying that, Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to share what is the Malaysian experience regarding living together to promote local communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for enlightening the Malaysian. Yes. Yes, sir, for enlightening the people, the importance of cross-cultural education, how the Malaysia introducing these curriculum integration for diversity, and 900 millions have been allocated for the development of digital tools for enhancing global learning. It's a great work, sir, from the Malaysian government for well-being, for learning the global level. Thank you for enlightening these with the people. You started with where India and Malaysia, and how the education system, how many people have been going through the education programs, and importance to the cross-cultural pedagogy. This is the need of the things. So this really, that's a great work of cross-cultural pedagogies for enlightening the people for the global well-being. Thank you for the talk, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for watching, sir. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Though we are not able to honor you in person, but we send the vibrations of thanking for taking time and giving us your valuable suggestions. Thank you so much. So thank you, sir. Now we move on to the next resource person. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Now we welcome the presenters, Dr. Shaini. You are welcome. Unmute yourself, we are not able to hear you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, audible.
Clear. Most sincere degree please, speakers and all the participants. Good morning everyone. I am Dr. Sister Shaini KP, Principal from Goethe College, Portland, Kannadi. I would like to present my paper on social competency and global communication in English, bridging cultures and connections. This paper highlights the importance of social competency in facilitating effective global communication through the English language. In an increasingly interconnected world, English serves as a bridge for global communication. However, effective communication requires more than just language proficiency. Social competency plays a vital role in navigating cultural diversity, fostering understanding, and building meaningful connections across borders. This involves emotional intelligence, adaptability, and cross-cultural sensitivity. Common statement. Despite the widespread use of English, some challenges hinder effective global communication. These involve lack of cultural awareness, misinterpretation of the allies due to cultural differences. Second barrier, language barriers. Limited proficiency can lead to misunderstandings. And third problem, restricted access to language education. Not all regions have equal opportunities for learning English. Research objectives. My paper aims to achieve 4 key objectives. Number 1, to analyze the role of social competency in effective global communication. To examine how the English language fosters cross-cultural understanding. And third, to identify main challenges faced in global communication. And fourth, to propose practical strategies to overcome these challenges. Theoretical framework. This paper is based on several relevant theories taken from intercultural communication theory. This theory highlights how people from different cultures and interactions and interpret messages. Social learning theory suggests that social competency is developed through observation and experience. And linguistic relativity theory, also known as the Xavier University Science of Malaysia, International Mobility and Collaboration. Various departments are working on international networking. So hopefully one day, St. Joseph can collaborate with one of the universities in Malaysia. So recommendation for strengthening global competencies, number one, enhancing intercultural education improvement in school. What are we doing today is one of the elements to strengthen global competency, because I also want to understand how the Indians are educated in India, and how the teachers are educated in India. We don't know much, but by having this kind of conference, we will make a better understanding each other. And also expanding community engagement initiatives to foster collaboration across ethnic groups, Malays, Chinese, Indian, and then Indian Malaysian, and Indian from India, Malaysian Chinese, and Chinese from China, or Malay from Malaysia, and Malay from Sri Lanka. We need to have engagement of banks to make sure that we are better in the global competency. Elaborating technology and digital element to connect Malaysian students with international peers and global perspectives. The same thing what we are doing now. And again, I just want to make sure that Malaysia's market 2025 prioritizes education. We allocated around 24 billion Malaysian ringgit, which is 6.8 billion is allocated to technical and vocational education, because the issue in Malaysia now that young people, they don't want to learn scientific studies, they don't want to understand science technology in education. We have lack of motivation to do that because they are moving to other studies or other areas. And 1.5 billion is special education programs. In our faculty also we have operation center, we have special education training programs as well. Actually, because we want to ensure that inclusive and globally relevant learning activities and counseling acts. So the education system, with its emphasis on diversity, unity and global engagement. So St. Joseph come to Malaysia so we can know each other, and policies and initiatives promoting intercultural learning and higher education internationalization ensure that Malaysia remains competitive in global landscape as well. So cultural effort in integrating intercultural education, global research, we can do joint research together to understand each other as well. So I think we have a good presentation. So come to Malaysia, usually many people who visit Petronas think not it's very expensive. Visiting Asia, not too expensive. Come to Malaysia, spend a few more days, and then we can go to Singapore and many other things. So by saying that, thank you very much for giving me opportunity to share what is the Malaysian experience regarding working together to promote global competencies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for enlightening the Malaysian. Yes, sir, for enlightening the people the importance of cross-cultural education, how the Malaysia introducing these curriculum integration for diversity, and 900 millions have been allocated for the development of digital tools for enhancing global learning. It's a great work, sir, from the Malaysian government for well-being, for learning the global level. Thank you for enlightening these with the people. You started with where India and Malaysia, and how the education system, how many people have been going through the education programs, and importance to the cross-cultural pedagogy. This is the need of the things. So this really, that's a great work of cross-cultural pedagogies for enlightening the people for the global well-being. Thank you for the talk, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Though we are not able to honor you in person, but we send the vibrations of thanking for taking time and giving us your valuable suggestions. Thank you so much. So thank you, sir. Now we move on to the next resource person. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Now we welcome the presenters, Dr. Shaini. You are welcome. Unmute yourself, we are not able to hear you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, yes, audible, audible. Clear, clear.
Most degree please, speakers and participants, good morning everyone. I'm Dr. Sister Shaini KP, Principal from Goethe College, Forum and Kanadi. I want to present my paper on social competency and global communication in English, bridging cultures and connections. This paper highlights the importance of social competency in facilitating effective global communication through the English language. In an increasingly interconnected world, English serves as a bridge for global communication. However, effective communication requires more than just language proficiency. Social competency plays a vital role in navigating cultural diversity, fostering understanding, and building meaningful connections across borders. This involves emotional intelligence, adaptability, and cross-cultural sensitivity. Global statement. Despite the widespread use of English, some challenges hinder effective global communication. These include lack of cultural awareness, misinterpretation of the advice due to cultural differences. Second barrier, language barriers. Limited proficiency can lead to misunderstandings. And third problem, restricted access to language education. Not all regions have equal opportunities for learning English. Research objectives. My paper aims to several relevant theories taken from intercultural communication theory. This theory attempts help people from different cultures and interactions and interpret messages. Social learning theory suggests that social competency is developed through observation and experience. And linguistic relativity theory, also known as the Zapier. St. Joseph want to do a collaboration with UKM, you may contact UKM Global. If you want to have mutual collaborations or partnership with Malaysian University like University of Malaysia and National University, you may contact National Registration Office. And if you want to contact UPM, you need to contact IPTRA, and for University of Science of Malaysia, International Mobility and Collaboration. Various departments are working on international networking. So hopefully one day, St. Joseph can collaborate with one of the universities in Malaysia. So recommendation for settling global competencies, number one, enhancing intercultural education to improvement in school. What are we doing today is one of the elements to strengthen global competency, because I also want to understand how the Indians are educated in India, and how the teachers are educated in India. We don't know much, but by having this kind of conference, we will make a better understanding each other. And also expanding community engagement initiatives to foster collaboration across ethnic groups, Malays, Chinese, Indian, and then Indian Malaysian, and Indian from India, Malaysian Chinese, and Chinese from China, or Malay from Malaysia, and Malay from Sri Lanka. We need to have engagement of everyone to make sure that we are better in the global competency. Elaborating technology emerging element to connect Malaysian students with the international peers and global perspectives. The same thing what we are doing now. And again, I just want to make sure that Malaysia's market 2025 prioritizes education. We allocated around 24 billion Malaysian ringgit, which is 6.8 billion is allocated to technical and vocational education, because the issue in Malaysia now that young people, they will want to learn scientific studies. They will want to understand science and education. We have a lot of motivation to do that because they are moving to other studies or other areas. And 1.5 billion special education programs in our Guntur, so we have a vision center, we have special education training programs as well. Ensuring, because we want to ensure that inclusive and globally relevant learning programs and counseling apps. So the education system, with its emphasis on diversity, unity and global engagement. So centers accountability that we can know each other, and policies and initiatives promoting intercultural learning and higher education, internationalization, ensure that Malaysia remains competitive in global landscape as well. So cultural effort in integrating intercultural education, global research, we can do joint research together to understand each other as well. So I think we have a good presentation. So come to Malaysia, many people who are using Petronas think not it's very expensive. Using Asia, not too expensive. Come to Malaysia, spend a few more days, and then we can go to Singapore and many other things. So by saying that, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to share what is the Malaysian experience regarding working together to promote local competencies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for enlightening the Malaysian. Yes, sir, for enlightening the people, the importance of cross-cultural education, how the Malaysia introducing these curriculum integration for diversity, and 900 millions have been allocated for the development of digital tools for enhancing global learning. It's a great work, sir, from the Malaysian government for well-being, for learning the global level. Thank you for enlightening these with the people. You started with where India and Malaysia, and how the education system, how many people have been going through the education programs, and importance to the cross-cultural pedagogy. These three need of the things. So these really, that's a great work of cross-cultural pedagogies for enlightening the people for the global well-being. Thank you for the talk, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for watching. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Though we are not able to honor you in person, but we send the vibrations of thanking for taking time and giving us your valuable suggestions. Thank you so much. So thank you, sir. Now we move on to the next resource person. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, thank you. welcome the presenters. Dr. Shaini, you are welcome. Unmute yourself, we are not able to hear you.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Yes, audible. Clear.
Speakers and participants, good morning everyone. I'm Dr. Sister Shaini KP, Principal from Goethe College, Portland, Tamil. I would like to present the paper on social competency and global communication in English, bridging cultures and connections. This paper highlights the importance of social competency in facilitating effective global communication through the English language. In an increasingly interconnected world, English serves as a bridge for global communication. However, effective communication requires more than just language proficiency. Social competency plays a vital role in navigating cultural diversity, fostering understanding, and building meaningful connections across borders. This involves emotional intelligence, adaptability, and cross-cultural sensitivity. Global statement. Despite the widespread use of English, some challenges hinder effective global communication. These involve lack of cultural awareness, misinterpretation of the advice due to cultural differences. Second barrier, language barriers. Limited proficiency can lead to misunderstandings. And third problem, restricted access to language education. Not all regions have equal opportunities for learning English. Research objectives. My paper aims to achieve 4 key objectives. Number 1, to analyze the role of social competency in effective global communication. To examine how the English language fosters cross-cultural understanding. And third, to identify main challenges faced in global communication. And fourth, to propose practical strategies to overcome these challenges. Theoretical framework. This paper is based on several relevant theories taken from intercultural communication theory. This theory highlights how people from different cultures and interactions and interpret messages. Social learning theory suggests that social competency is developed through observation and experience. And linguistic relativity theory, also known as the Sapir. and for Innovative Science of Malaysia, International Mobility and Collaboration. Various departments are working on international networking. So hopefully one day, St. Joseph can collaborate with one of the universities in Malaysia. So recommendation for settling global competencies, number one, enhancing intercultural education to improvement in school. What are we doing today is one of the elements to strengthen global competency, because I also want to understand how the Indians how we educated in them, and how the teachers are educated in them. We don't know much, but by having this kind of conference, we will make a better understanding each other. And also expanding community engagement initiatives to foster collaboration across ethnic groups, Malays, Chinese, Indian, and then Indian Malaysian, and Indian from India, Malaysian Chinese, and Chinese from China, or Malay from Malaysia, and Malay from Sri Lanka. We need to have engagement of that to make sure that we are better in the global competency. Elaborating technology emerging element to connect Malaysian students with international peers and global perspectives. The same thing what we are doing now. And again, I just want to make sure that Malaysia's market 2025, while with IELTS education, we allocated around 24 billion Malaysian ringgit, which is 6.8 billion is allocated to technical and vocational education, because the issue in Malaysia now that young people, they want to learn scientific studies, they want to understand science in education. We have a lot of motivation to do that because they are moving to other studies or other areas. And 1.5 billion is special education programs. In our Guntur, also we have Competencies Center, we have special education training programs as well. Ensuring, because we want to ensure that inclusive and globally relevant learning activities. And counseling apps. So global education system, with its emphasis on diversity, unity and global engagement. So for centers, come to Malaysia, we can know each other. And policies and initiatives promoting intercultural learning and higher education, internationalization, ensure that
मौसम विभाग ने पश्चिम बंगाल के पहाड़ी इलाकों सिक्किम, गोवा और महाराष्ट्र में कहीं कहीं आज गरज और चमक के साथ हल्की से मध्यम वर्षा का अनुमान व्यक्त किया है। और मध्य प्रदेश, असम और मेघालय में भी ऐसा ही मौसम रहने की संभावना है। विभाग के अनुसार उत्तर पश्चिम भारत में अलग अलग स्थानों पर आज तेज हवा चलने और राजस्थान में आंधी चलने की संभावना है। भीषण गर्मी की चपेट में है। अगले 2 दिन में तापमान 2 से 3 डिग्री सेल्सियस तक बढ़ने की संभावना है। और अब खेल समाचार के साथ हैं अंजू आनंद।
आईपीएल क्रिकेट में आज शाम 7:30 बजे अहमदाबाद में गुजरात टाइटंस का मुकाबला मुंबई इंडियंस से होगा। दोनों ही टीमें अपने शुरुआती मैच हारने के बाद ये मैच जीतकर वापसी करने की कोशिश करेंगी। कल में रॉयल चैलेंजर्स बेंगलुरु ने चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स को 50 रन से हराया। टेबल टेनिस में भारत के मानव ठक्कर ने WTT स्टार कंटेंडर इवेंट के अंतिम मार्च के लिए क्वालिफाई कर लिया है। ऐसा करने वाले ठक्कर पहले
Good afternoon, everyone. I request Himabindu to present her paper. Anukunta madam. Himabindu. Yes. Yes, ma'am. You can present your paper, ma'am.
Hello, good evening. I'm calling from Sydney, and I'm very happy to see you all today on this occasion of this conference. To begin with, I'd like to pay my respects to the land from where I am making this presentation. I'd also like to pay my respects to the land where this conference is going on. I would also want to pay my respects to the conference organizers and the wonderful scholars and the researchers and the great professionals that I have been listening to since yesterday. To begin with, I would like to mention that I am a teacher in a high school setting in here, and I teach children with special needs. So this mental health topic is very close to my heart. So the topic of my presentation today is the role of mental health in developing psychosocial competencies among youth in the modern world. First of all, to begin with, mental health is a critical factor in the development of youth, especially in these present times. Adolescents and young adults are undergoing various changes and changes that shape their identity, social skills, and emotional understanding. Now, this concept of psychosocial competencies refers to the ability to navigate social situations, manage emotions, build relationships, and adapt to challenges. Now, these competencies are essential for you to succeed academically, socially, and personally. Mental health plays a very significant role in facilitating or hindering the development of these competencies. I see it every day in my classrooms. This happens every single day. Not only that, I use a simpler term for psychosocial competencies, and that's life skills, basically. In this paper, I want to explore the connection between mental health and these psychosocial competencies. Now, I also want to look at how mental well-being supports or obscures youth development in the modern world. There have been so many great teachers who have been explaining what exactly psychosocial competencies are. I do not want to repeat that. But I would like to say very quick way, in the shortest way possible, what mental health might mean. It includes all or encompasses everything: emotional, psychological, social well-being of an individual. It affects how individuals think, feel, act in daily life. This has already been explained already. Adolescence is a critical period for mental health, and as it shapes long-term mental well-being and resilience, we should be paying a lot of attention towards that. Now, psychosocial competencies, like I said, has been explained multiple times by great people today and yesterday. So I'm going to forgo that, and I'm going to continue into how mental health issues in the present times are being experienced by young people. They are experiencing a range of pressures that can impact their mental health. According to World Health Organization, mental health disorders, especially among adolescents, are rising. Conditions such as anxiety, depression, and stress are increasingly prevalent among youth. Now, I'll be looking at what could be causing that. And social media, technology. Well, there you go. It's not in India, not in Australia, everywhere in the world. Studies show that youth are exposed to social comparison, cyberbullying, online harassment, which can negatively impact their self-esteem and mental health. In 2019, a study by American Psychological Association found a strong correlation between excessive social media use and mental health issues in adolescents. Academic pressures, of course, especially among the Indian youth. The increasing academic demands on youth contribute to heightened stress and anxiety. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, students who experience academic pressures are at higher risk for depression and anxiety disorders. Now, looking at economic and social factors. Well, youth from marginalized communities are more vulnerable to mental health challenges due to economic instability, lack of resources, social inequalities. Now, these stresses can hinder their ability to develop essential psychosocial competencies. The link between mental health and psychosocial competencies, we can see the foundation to the development of psychosocial competencies is mental health. The positive mental health, of course, enables the youth to build skills like resilience, emotional intelligence, and effective communication. Now, some of the things we had Dr. Radhika, the Professor Radhika, she was brilliant in talking about resilience. I do not want to repeat it, but yes, resilience is extremely important for that. Emotional regulation, I heard another speaker talking about that, how it is so closely related, emotional regulation to mental health. Social skills and empathy, especially our Dr. Saroja ma'am, she has been expert in this concept and topic of how empathy and social skills are so very closely related to mental health. Now, I cannot stress that enough. Self-esteem and confidence, we have had so many speakers talking about that as well. Now, mental health also plays that important role in the development of the self-esteem and confidence, a positive one at that. Benefits of fostering mental health for especially the youth is that it improves academic performance, because we were talking about that, better social relationships among the youth. Well, when the stronger the mental health, of course, the better social relationships, whether it be family, friends, or at work. Enhancing coping skills. Now, of course, we were talking about the stresses that the young people are experiencing. Well, yes, it helps them. Better mental health is definitely helping them cope with stressful situations. Role of support systems in mental health and development is the role of family, of course. Family supports it. And, of course, the school and community programs, the community around them, of course, they always help in how to support, mentally an individual, especially a young person. Peer network, of course, the friends and the friends and the peers, the kind of people that they are around and how they support is also really critical in how persons, come out with positive, positive way of life, positive way of life. Now, access to professional help. Now, there you go. Despite all that, there are sometimes places and times when a young person does have mental health issues, and that may not be related to exactly, their environment. It could be something to do with them personally. It could be medical. It could be their health, or it could be their own genetic. Now, that is when the professional help comes in, and the role of the psychologist and the great work of all these great professionals that I have been listening to for the last couple of hours. Now, challenges to these especially mental health would be stigma, of course. This is a very big thing, especially in Southeast Asian countries. We find it very difficult for the family and community to accept, and there is a stigma with relation to accepting that there is an issue with regard to mental health. Now, that's really very important for us to remember that and be able to address it. There are limited resources as well, yes. Resources, many parts of the world, the services are very limited, and access to them, of course, it makes a big problem for our young people. Technological impact, of course, technology has offered its own benefits, but it also presents its challenges. Excessive use of social media, cyberbullying, etc., not a great thing for our kids. Now, strategies, of course, mental health education. We have incorporation of social-emotional learning programs. Well, of course, that would be what will be provided by the psychologists, and promoting access to mental health services and creating safe spaces. Now, at schools, communities, whether at school, community, colleges.
Hemabindu.
Yes,
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Hello. Ma'am, can you brief your paper,
Is that all
please?
right?
Madam?
Sorry, ma'am.
Bindu, you have presented very nicely.
Schools and communities which provide
social competencies.
The most important places to provide these safe
Very nice,
spaces to
Bindu.
provide these
Please conclude. Please conclude.
So
Please
finally, in
conclude, Bindu.
conclusion, I'd like to
I am
say that
Saroja
mental
aunty.
health- Hello, auntie. How are you?
Congratulations. You have done very well with a beautiful expression you have given your presentation, and your practical insights as a teacher there in Australia really enlightened your speech. Really, it is more insightful and then practical. Thank you, ma.
Thank you so much, auntie. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity today, speaking on mental health. And all the best to you, and you have a great time. Thank you.
మీ దగ్గరలో మనపురం బ్రాంచ్ను సందర్శించండి లేదా టోల్ ఫ్రీ నంబర్ 1800 420 కి కాల్ చేయండి.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We are very happy and delighted to have your presence online. I am very happy to introduce him to the audience. Professor Karanam Pushpanadam is the head and Department of Educational Administration in Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda in Gujarat. He is a distinguished professor in the field of educational management. He currently leads the Department of Educational Administration at the university. His work spans over 30 years, contributing extensively to the research, teaching, and community outreach in education. He has guided numerous PhD scholars in education and educational management and served as a consultant on several educational initiatives, particularly in teacher development and leadership. We are very delighted to have you, sir, and we are waiting to listen to your contribution. We welcome you once again. Sir, please proceed with yours, and we request you to make it very short as we are the last day running and many are waiting for the presentation of papers. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, let me thank the College of Education from Guntur and also Professor Saroja for inviting me here to share some of the work that I have been doing at the Faculty of Education and Psychology. And let me appreciate the organizers of this international conference on a very, very important theme, the skills for youth. And the theme is so important in the present context in India. Why? Because we have the great demographic dividend. If you see the population, 1.4 billion plus population we have in this country, out of which more than 60% of the population are between the age group of 15 to 45, a prime age, a youth who have the power to contribute not only to themselves but also the global world. Therefore, keeping this in mind, how best we can make use of this demographic dividend that we have today, the youth, and how to convert this youth into human resources, and how these human resources can really contribute to the nation building. So in this context, this conference is very, very important, and I appreciate the organizers for coining the right theme at the right pitch. As you all know, we have successfully completed the 75 years after the independence, and we are walking ahead, marching forward. And we also walking towards the Viksit Bharat, how India